Hi, I'm Julie Golding, the Endpoint Assessment Manager at ActiveIQ. I'm joined by Sue Tisserman, who's the Apprenticeship Provision Management Consultant for Academies Enterprise Trust. Hello, Sue. Thanks for agreeing to chat to me today about apprenticeship standards.
Pleasure.
Okay, so I'm going to run through a few questions. I'm going to make this a lovely snapshot meeting, just to give people an idea around apprenticeship standards and how they work for employers. So how do you feel about the apprenticeship standards? What's your experience been?
Well, in general, we deliver anything to do with the education sector, and we're finding that they're really good, and they are much more up to date than some of the frameworks were in terms of current working practices. As an employer, we've had some good experiences with them. Our apprentices like them, and the progression and the development of the apprentices during the standards, such as confidence and knowledge, has been really good.
Brilliant. That's really positive then. So for employers that might be considering taking on apprentices, what would you say to them, and where would they start?
The first thing we do is look at our job vacancies. We look at the job descriptions, and we determine how an apprentice would fit into the structure within the whole of the structure of our various academies. We've got 57 academies across the UK, and we also work with external trusts. So we advise them to do the same as employers. And then we look at career development opportunities so that the job description and the standard that we are going to match to the job description works. And apprentices, well, they become valued members of staff straight away because they're inducted into their own academy by that academy head and their line manager. So they're an employer within that academy as well as being employee of Academies Enterprise Trust. It has been difficult to release the 20% at times, but with the government or the ESFA's new guidelines, they're making it slightly more flexible. Although with timetables in an education sector, you can timetable in dedicated study time. So that's worked for us in terms of flexibility. I would say it's a good idea as an employer to get a substantial link or a really good communication link with the specialist training provider that's going to deliver your standards, because they'll have experience in that sector.
Absolutely. Okay, and what would you say are the most important aspects of apprentice preparation for endpoint assessment?
It's important that the apprentice and their employer or their line manager understands what endpoint assessment is from the outset. So at our induction stage and the sign-up stage, we actually introduce endpoint assessment. We are working towards it all the time. And when we do our progress reviews, which are quarterly in our case, we involve the employer with the apprentice, so it's tripartite, in order to make sure that they know they're working towards an endpoint assessment, what that looks like, because it's different for every standard, and make sure that the apprentice is doing presentations, having professional discussions throughout the programme. So when they get to endpoint assessment, although they're going to be nervous because it's an end test, they are more familiar with custom and practice.
Brilliant. That's absolutely essential, isn't it? Having that initial meeting to make sure everybody is committed and understands exactly what that endpoint assessment looks like and what it involves. Okay. And what type of resources do you think apprentices prefer to use or benefit from when preparing for endpoint assessment and on programme?
Our apprentices absolutely love your toolkits because they actually say it gives them confidence that what they've been doing, and as they fill it in as they go along, it prompts them. It's something for them to read at the end. Working in the education sector, we have resources at our fingertips for all sorts of things across the board, from textbooks in our libraries to our online resources. And because we work a blended learning delivery model, our apprentices benefit from online resources. We have a lot of online in-house training that's mandated, such as the Prevent Agenda and all sorts of additional health and safety things. which are accessible to them all the time on our online resources. And then they benefit from seeing their trainer face to face, or their trainer on a one-to-one tutorial, where they get specific delivery that's customised for that apprentice and for that academy and for that particular module within the standard.
That's brilliant. I think that face-to-face is essential as well, isn't it? Just to, you know, give that confidence that they're on the right track and they can ask any questions and anything that they might be wondering about. So fantastic. Okay, and what about the general feedback from apprentices that are taking these apprenticeship standards?
Most of it's very positive. There was the transition period between frameworks and standards where employers couldn't understand why there wasn't a piece of paper that said a certificate in a specific subject, although in some of our standards there's mandated quals anyway. So it was a bit of a strange transition. However, now it's embedded as a standard, and because it's work related, because it's very holistic and it looks at knowledge, skills and behaviours, employers, we like it, employers like it, our line managers like it. And a lot of our apprentices are very positive towards this. It's kick-started their enthusiasm to education. Some of them go from the teaching assistant into wanting to do teacher training. Some of them want to move into a higher level. They want to look at progression. And because they've enjoyed it in terms of being at work and training whilst at work, it's had a much more positive outcome in terms of our success rates.
Fantastic. That's really, really positive.
And it's, I suppose it's an opportunity that some of them who've been in a job, but have just been in the job, are learning more about it. It's given them an opportunity they may not necessarily have got in that respect. And interestingly enough, when people have been a dinner lady or midday supervisor or anything that's related to the sector, they suddenly feel, actually, I'd like to get into the classroom now and I'd like to become a teaching assistant or a nursery nurse. And it sort of kick-started them into progressing their own career into an area they may not have thought about.
Fantastic. Wonderful. Okay, so we've worked with you for quite a long time now, which is great. What is it you appreciate about Active IQ's endpoint assessment services?
For us, we would absolutely 100% state how friendly and professional your team is. You're responsive to all our questions and you talk to any one of our team. So whenever one of our trainers is stuck, they feel confident enough to come to you without having to put it through a third party. And they all positively state what an amazing response, how quick the response times have been, how you help us with your systems, and how good it is to get the learner into the gateway and how quickly you respond to gateway. And if we've got a specific request, say we've got an apprentice in a SEND school who, you know, working in one of our special schools where they need to do it in a certain time frame or on a certain day of the week, you're responsive to our needs in terms of all of that. Brilliant.
Yeah, we certainly do try. It's extremely busy times, isn't it, at the moment? We certainly do try them. We're still, you know, we're still managing to get there, but I think it's a challenge for everyone at the moment, isn't it? But
I mean, it's always been a positive experience for us, and we always, strangely enough, when somebody says, who do you recommend, we always say, well, we love Active IQ.
Fantastic.
You talk to any of our team and they all say the same.
Lovely. Oh, so what about, you know, when people look for an endpoint assessment organisation, what would you say are the three most valuable aspects of our services to your business?
I mean, we always check that you're like registered, Ofqual related, etc. But our main points would be what a speedy response time we can get. How good is the communication? Do we actually know who the people are so that we can actually ring up and say, may I speak to Andy? May I speak to Julie? May I speak to? For us, that's important to have a named person. And also the quality of the EPAs and the feedback they give. And I'd say your reputation is second to none as both an awarding organisation and an EPAO.
Lovely. Fantastic. That's great. Thank you so much for your positive feedback. That means so much to us. But what about Academies Enterprise Trust? What aspects of your service do you pride yourselves on?
We pride ourselves that we specialise in the education sector. We not only to all of our own academies, but we also deliver to quite a few external academy trusts who've come to us because they've heard that we are apprenticeship training provider as well as an employer provider. Not only do we deliver to them, but we have delivered to independent schools. So we have done some levy transfer, which, you know, feel that we're giving back to people who may not benefit from some of the opportunities. I would say that our quality of delivery, the experience of our team, their occupational competence and their background, and our success rates are the three most positive things that I'm proud of. And I'm proud of the team and how loyal they are and how much they keep the learner at heart.
Yeah, that's fantastic to hear. That retention of your team and that keeping it standardized, and fantastic if you can achieve that. And we've worked together, we've been partnered together for a long time now.
Yes.
We've always found you to be extremely thorough in everything you do, so it's an absolute pleasure to be able to offer our services to you and work with you. And we love the fact that you want to work with us for more standards, and it's great that we can collaborate and work on this together. So before we go, Sue, what's your favourite inspirational quote?
I think I need to say that AET's quote would be, we want to inspire everybody to find their remarkable. And that's our mission for every pupil, to find their remarkable, every member of staff to find their remarkable. For me, I'd like to say that every accomplishment starts with the decision to try. Absolutely.
If you don't try, you're never going to know. Okay, love it. Thank you so much, Sue, for the chat today. It's been a pleasure. I hope
as well.
Yeah, I hope we've given some valuable insight into the fantastic benefits of apprenticeship standards. If you'd like to find out more, please do get in touch. You can email apprenticeships@activeiq.co.uk. You can call 01480 467950 and select option 7, or you can visit our website at www.activeiq.co.uk. Thanks, Sue. Good to talk to you.
Bye now.
Bye.